In the state of Florida, drowning is the leading cause of death in children ages 1 through 4. Now, Florida also has the highest rate of child drownings under the age of 5 in the nation. May is Water Safety Awareness Month, and we have all the details on how you can keep your little ones safe this summer coming up on Polk Place. Welcome to Polk Place. I'm your host, Brian Lacey, and joining me in studio is Taylor Freeman. Taylor is a health educator for the Florida Department in Polk County.
I am.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Brian?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Coming up, what are we working on? This has got to be at least 4 or 5 years you've been coming in here doing interviews with us.
Yeah, actually, this is my 4th time in here for Water Safety Month specifically, actually. Yeah. So, yeah, we're at 4 years now.
Yeah. So it's getting warmer, so yes. Which means going to be a lot more activity, and in this tropical paradise we call home.
Yes, our temperate haven.
Yeah, 556 lakes,
yes.
and a whole bunch more pools.
Yes.
And May is Water Safety Awareness Month. So let's talk a little bit about the events themselves. State the obvious. Why is it? You know, it's 1 month out of the year, but in all actuality, it's something that should be practiced 12 months out of the year.
Absolutely. I mean, the fact that we live in Florida means that the majority of the year we are able to swim in our lakes or in our pools or even in the ocean sometimes, not necessarily in Polk County, but, you know, just a short drive away. So we want to make sure that our children and our adults all know how to swim and all know how to keep eyes on the kids, especially in the water. We have a lot of child drownings in Florida. Florida is actually the leading state for child drownings in the nation. And most of those drownings actually occur in children under 5. However, I am part of a group, the Coalition on Injury Prevention, and our drowning subcommittee every year reviews these deaths that occur. And when we were looking at the deaths, we were actually able to get some data from Polk County Fire Rescue on the calls that went out in 2018. So while we are seeing that deaths occur in our small children under 5, we were noticing that the majority of the calls that Polk County Fire Rescue has to respond to are in our children under 9. We actually had 25 calls for children under 9 last year alone. So we just really want to make sure that we're canvassing the county and making sure that we reinforce that we need to keep our eyes on the kids, that we need to make sure that our kids and our adults have swim lessons, and that we're CPR certified, and all of our safety measures are in place.
Let's talk about one of the facets that you mentioned. The ability of learning to swim. You know,
yes.
When I was younger, I just got thrown in the pool, and it was, you know, figure it out quickly.
Right, we don't do that anymore.
But talk about the importance of swimming programs and the learning to swim programs, and of course the resources that we have in this community.
Yes, so actually learning to swim is the only evidence-based practice to prevent a drowning. So the only thing that we can do that is proven beyond a shadow of a doubt to prevent drownings is make sure that our residents, especially our children in this case, know how to swim. Swim lessons actually can start as early as 6 months old. We have instructors that are trained by Infant Swim Rescue, and they are actually able to help these 6-month-olds learn how to flip over and float if they fall in the pool. They go through a bunch of different activities and drills where they teach them basically just to get to the side of the pool so that mom or dad can then come and get them out. And at the end, they get them into the pool fully clothed so that if the child isn't expecting to swim and they're just walking past the pool and they accidentally fall in, they're prepared for that situation as well. And then we have lessons that go up from there. So we have like mommy and me classes if you're more comfortable getting in the water with your child. Daddies are available too. We also have toddler specific lessons that go up by swim skill, and then we have youth and teen lessons that go up by swim skill, and then we have some swim lessons that actually cater to adults, and adults kind of sometimes can be tricky because when we're young and we're kids, we're not really embarrassed to do things in front of a group. But
Yeah.
a lot of times if you don't know how to swim as an adult, you're like, I don't want to get in front of a group of 10 to 15 people and try to swim when I don't know how. So we actually have some private lessons and instructors that will either let you come to their home or come to your home if you need a private lesson as an adult as well. So we have the whole range of things for our residents to get able to swim.
At my age, my swimming capabilities really are floating around the lazy river at the resorts or water parks that I go to. I don't even.
Well, you know.
Yeah, I go to Daytona, I look at the ocean, I'm like, no way I'm going in there, man.
Right.
Bad things happen.
Every once in a while, you got to dip your toes in because, you know, it can be a little bit dangerous sometimes, but when using the proper safety precautions, you know, it ends up just enhancing everybody's fun and good time.
And one of the things that you'd mentioned, not only is our lessons a preventable stage of drowning, another one is keeping an eye on kids. Just because the
Absolutely.
kids can swim doesn't mean cramps don't happen, don't mean, you know,
It doesn't mean that the child doesn't jump in and accidentally bump their head on the bottom of the pool, and then they don't, like, how can they? If they're knocked out, how can they swim, you know, to the top of the water? So we do need to make sure that we're keeping an eye on our kids. The general rule of thumb actually is to have one person designated as what we like to call a water watcher. Because what we're finding is a lot of times if there are multiple adults at the pool, every adult thinks that everybody else is watching the child. So then no one's watching the child. So if we have a designated water watcher, that person knows you're in charge of watching the kids. You cannot be on your cell phone. You shouldn't be reading a book. You definitely should not be drinking alcohol. And they actually scan the pool every 30 seconds to try to make sure we've got a head count of all the kids every 30 seconds. And then if they have to go to the bathroom or they want to break or they, you know, you can do it in shifts. So they want to, you know, have some food or whatever. You just pass the water watcher tag off to another adult, make sure that that adult's in place, and then they're watching the kids. So we're always having eyes everywhere.
And of course, the third phase of that project is CPR. Talk about the community partners and chances for those who are in the Polk County community to get that training.
Absolutely. So we have a lot of partners that actually sit with our Coalition on Injury Prevention. One of our main partners, who I absolutely love, is Citizen CPR. They do CPR lessons throughout the county. They have classes that they'll come and do them for businesses if you want to get certified, you know, as an entire agency. They also have single classes that they can offer to people and different instructors. They have different types of instructors depending on how you learn best. So Connie Bamberg over there with Citizen CPR is the person that I usually refer people to if they want CPR lessons, because she'll find what fits you, what fits your family, and she'll make sure she can get you in.
And I love those guys because
I know,
on
aren't they
their
great?
board are some of our retired EMS personnel.
Yes.
And very tight with them, love them.
Yes, they're great. I met a lot of them actually at their CPR forum that they had last year, yeah.
So another thing that I'd like to talk about is, you know, being with fire rescue for as long as I was, one thing that we noticed is we are a destination for folks to come, and the property rentals that are available with pools. Talk about the importance of, you know, you're coming down here on vacation, and the importance of, you know, of using these practices even if you're here on vacation.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's probably one of the most important times that you need to use the practices, because when you're on vacation, sometimes your guard's down a little. You're like, oh, I'm here to have fun. I'm here to enjoy, whether you're visiting family or you're just here because this is a nicer place to stay when you're on your way to Disney over in Orlando or whatever. Your guard is kind of down a little bit. And so people sometimes let those safety precautions that they know slide. So they might not be as aware of that the child is running to the sliding glass door in this rental home that is not their home, and they're able to get out into the backyard and get into the pool back there. So it's really important that these rental properties are also leaving education for the families that are renting them, that they're also arming the rental properties with door alarms for those back doors that lead to the pool, and that we're also encouraging them to have like barriers around the pool, like pool gates, not just around the 3 sides outside the pool, but also on the inside that separates the pool from the home, so that if the kid does get outside the back door on accident, they still have to go through a gate to get to the pool.
What are some of the other things that the Florida Department of Health in Polk County want the residents and visitors to Polk County to know about Water Safety Month?
So we actually have 2 other really important tips that we wanted to make sure that we get out to our residents. One of them is driving a boat is the same thing as driving a vehicle. I understand that a lot of times when we're by the water, we're drinking alcohol because it's fun, we're having a day on the lake and we're all boating together. But you really should not be drinking alcohol and operating a boat. It is a motor vehicle, so we need to make sure that somebody is the DD, so to speak, of the boat if we're all going to be going out and drinking. Also, when you're on a boat, we need to make sure that everyone has a life jacket, a U.S. Coast Guard approved life jacket. Not just for the children. Everyone that is there needs to have one available. Now, you do not have to wear it if you are over 13 years old, but if you are under 13, the child needs to have that life jacket on in the water.
All right. Well, I'm going to give you a last word on this, inspire those watching to make sure that they not only incorporate these safe practices in during May, but they do it all year round.
Absolutely. So, our kids are the future of our county. They are who we aspire to be. That's what parents leave their legacies through their children. And the thing that we all want most is to protect not only our residents, but especially our children. And the most important thing is to do these preventative practices to make sure your child and you know how to swim, to make sure that you or any other adult that is going to be around your child while in the water has CPR certification and knows how to perform CPR in case of an emergency. Make sure that somebody is designated to watch your children. Make sure that if you are on a boat that you are not drinking and that you have life jackets available. And if we do all of those things, we can prevent one more drowning, call, and fatality from happening in our county.
As usual, always a pleasure to have you in the studio, and
Thank you.
you're just a vast wealth of information.
Thank you. I try,
We'll see you next visit, all right?
See ya.
Polk County's child drowning fatality rate remains higher than the state average, with approximately 6 drowning deaths in 2017. With over 500 lakes in Polk County, our residents spend a significant amount of time in and around the water. Now, May is Water Safety Awareness Month, and the Florida Department of Health in Polk County wants you to know that it's very important for Florida residents to be aware of water safety tips to keep a fun family outing from turning into a tragedy. Because many are so comfortable near the water, residents may have a false sense of security. Stay safe this summer. If you need more information on Water Safety Awareness Month, you can contact the Florida Department of Health in Polk County at 863-519-7900 or look them up on the web at www.polk.floridahealth.gov.